What is up, my friends? How are we? You're very welcome along to Friday night's late night agenda, where the fun begins, I hope. I was just watched the first half of that United game, turned it off, and they go behind. I didn't even get to enjoy Leicester taking the lead, but we'll talk about it tonight. Of course, we'll talk about the Plymouth game at the weekend. We'll have a chat around the contract situation and just a bit of a debate about what we think fair offers would be for Mohamed, for Virgil, and for Trent. So yeah, look, it's so funny. It's so funny seeing United losing at home in the FA Cup. I know it's only half time or getting towards half time, but that's a shocker, ladies and gents. That is a shocker. And do you know what? I was watching it. I'm sure you guys have it on the background or whatever as well. They're so bad. Like, you can feel and hear the groans inside Old Trafford. It reminded me of the Hodgson era at Liverpool. You know, you go into the game and you're looking at it and you just don't think, wow, not much good is going to come of this one. And every time, passing the ball backwards, passing it backwards, you can hear the boos start to come in. And I was smiling away watching it because it was awful. Awful. It wasn't an easy watch. So yeah, look, loads to get through tonight, ladies and gents. It looks like it's going to be a quiet stream, but that's all right. You know, we can get to know each other that little bit better. We're going to talk about the release clause of Matheus Cunha's new contract with Wolves. Manchester City they look like they're going to be going in another battle with the Premier League about sponsorship this time. We'll be talking about Arne Slot, giving you an update on Tyler Morton's injury concern and a few other bits and pieces over the course of however long we're on this evening. Did you see Gerrard's going to the derby? Good. You know, he's a bit of spare time on his hands these days, Stevie. No longer managing El Ettifaq, so yeah, he's got a bit of spare time on his hands. Good bit of news today, by the way. I'm sure you guys have probably seen it already, but Rio Moha, excuse me, I can never pronounce the young man's surname. He's been included in the Reds Champions League squad now. We'll go through the full squad a little bit later on, but Rio has been called up into the Liverpool Champions League squad for the last 16 onwards, which is good news for him and of course good news for us as a club. We're also going to go through tonight and give you the WhoScored team of the week from the latest round of Carabao Cup fixtures. You'll notice that there will be absolutely zero Arsenal players in the team of the week, because why would there be? They were whooped. But you know, and we're also going to have a little chat about Gary Neville at some point as well, and the gift that keeps on giving, because my God, he just keeps getting everything wrong, doesn't he? And we're going to talk a little bit as well. Craig, where can I find that theme song before it comes on? I know we've posted it to the community tab of the YouTube channel, but I don't know, you know, if you want to email me, I'll send it to you, no problem. If you want to send me an email, man, I'll send it on to you by email. contact@anfieldagenda.com, contact@anfieldagenda.com, and I would be more than happy to email it across to you, my man. Right, so where do we want to start tonight? How are we feeling? Because I didn't get much sleep last night, in a good way, because I was absolutely buzzing after the game last night. I think I've watched the full game twice since last night, and the highlights probably another 5 or 6 times. And every time I'm finding new things to enjoy about the performance. It was brilliant. And look, everybody tries to make out Spurs just didn't show up, but we had to do our job. We went into that game 1-0 down, remember, and we were brilliant. Absolutely. That was one of my favourite performances this season. It was incredible. Incredible. And there's just no poor performances to pick out as well. It was an absolute joy to watch it. It was a joy to share the evening with everyone. And of course, an easy player ratings video to make as well. So yeah, I'd love to see you back in Belfast, Craigo, said Scott. I'm sure we will at some point. Do you know what? I'm going to be up in Belfast in June. Not for a show. Brian wants to go up. Brian's coming over from the USA and he wants to take a trip up to Belfast. So I said I'd drive them up. So I will be in Belfast in June at some point. Epiphany, thank you for our first super chat of the night, my friend. Appreciate you. Lovely way to kick off the weekend. We should offer Salah, Van Dijk and Trent a 3% stake into the club and lifelong front row VIP ticket experience with the baddest bitches on call. I think it might be a little bit too much there, you know. 3% of Liverpool would be a ridiculous amount of money for anybody to be offered. So, look, I don't know what's fair, but I thought we could have a discussion about it tonight because I think, look, I guess we're going to talk about this one by one because we can't lump them all in together. So let's start off with, I think, the easiest conversation. Virgil. So Jamie Carragher last night was saying that he believes Virgil van Dijk's the best defender in the Premier League by a country mile. And I agree. And he's playing at a level that I think shows that there's no concern about him dropping off. You know, Virgil doesn't rely on pace. You know, if you're looking at Mohamed Salah or any other forward who's getting on in years, you can make an argument, okay, maybe they fall away a little bit. But with Virgil, I genuinely think that he is the safest bet to still be at a very, very high level in 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. And it should be straightforward for me. Virgil should be on about 250, in my opinion. And I think he'd deserve every penny of that. Currently on about 200, I believe, in and around. And I think if you threw another 50 grand of Virgil, I'd be happy with that, personally. 2 years with an option of a third. Club captain. We do know that his agent was spotted there last night beside Richard Hughes as well at the game against Spurs. So that can only be a good thing, right? That those conversations must be taking place. We also know that Rami Abbasissa was in and around London this week somewhere, where Liverpool, of course, have offices as well. So was Mo's agent over for another round of talks. Again, I hope so. But with Virgil, he's the one I think we can take control of the situation the easiest with. Because he's just the captain. And I can't put it any simpler than that. Virgil is the captain. Virgil should be renewed. And I think it should be done quickly. Because I think it sets the tone if you get your captain renewed as well. Still don't know what to feel on the Trent front. Because I don't know whose decision this is to make. Is it a club decision? Is it a Trent decision? Really, I'm unsure about. But on Virgil, let's get a poll up to ask what you think his wages should be. So 1 second. Okay, 1 sec. Bear with me, folks. It's not pet week, Craig. It's per week, not pet week. Okay. I'm one of these weird people that can't really concentrate, do two things at once. So bear with me if there's silence when I'm typing. Apologies. Right. I have to put the last option in, and I hope nobody clicks on it. But so what I've said is, what wage should VVD get? 200k per week, 250k per week, 300k per week, or do not renew? Now, I know it's silly, but I got to put it in as another option. So there we go. Have a little vote on that one, and we'll come back to it in a couple of minutes, and we'll see what people are thinking about it. So 200k a week, which is in and around what he's on now. So that would basically mean no pay rise for Virgil. 250k per week would be a bit of a pay rise from. 300k a week, I think, is unrealistic personally. But again, interested to know what you guys think will be a fair wage. Tongpo said, VVD is the best centre-back in the world. He's worth 250 plus bonuses. I agree. I agree on every aspect of what you've written. Definitely the best centre-back in the world. Oh, by the way, while we're talking about centre-backs, have you seen that Real Madrid are interested in trying to sign William Saliba from Arsenal in the summer? Oh, please make that. That would be so... Imagine the Arsenal fan meltdown if Real Madrid come in for the centre-back and Saliba wants to move away. Oh, I'm here for that. Make that happen. Be nice to see other clubs get Real Madrid's journalists for a while and not us having to listen to them, because God, I'm fed up of listening to the whole Trent situation and all the stuff coming out of Madrid. So yes, what are we thinking there? Saliba. And 2 years to go on his deal, Matthew was saying as well. I didn't know that, Matthew. So yeah, that could be nervy times for Arsenal fans, because, you know, Saliba, I'm sure looking there thinking, well, Kylian Mbappe is at Real Madrid, Camavinga is at Real Madrid, Tchouaméni is at Real Madrid, so he's got the French contingent there. Be an interesting one. Ban immediately anyone who says do not renew. I would imagine anyone that clicks do not renew is probably just not a Liverpool fan, in all honesty. Mario, how are you, sir? Said Craig, just joined. Do you think it's time to consider a quadruple? No, I'm banning it. I'm banning the damn word. I'll tell you why in a second. I fully believe we can do it. Understand the near impossible, but it just feels like something special is brewing. Much love, Craig. Look, Connor tried to bring up the word earlier on as well. And he tried to say, you know, will we throw that into the title tonight? And I had to say no. Because all that's going to happen is, if I start talking about a potential quadruple and it doesn't happen, you know who's getting the blame. Be like, that's all your fault, Craig. You brought that up. You shouldn't have been thinking about it. So I'm putting a ban on it for the moment because, you know, 33-1 were the odds of it, by the way, before we beat Spurs yesterday. Connor had a little check-up on that one last night. 33-1. Now, whilst I am banning that word, I am going to speak about another word that's a little bit close. Treble. Right, hear me out. I think we're winning the Premier League, right? I think that's going to happen. It's a coin flip for the League Cup final. You know, we're in a final. Us, Newcastle, coin flip. So there's a good chance of that. Then it'll come down to the Champions League for me. And we'll know more about how confident or not we feel when we see how this draw pans out. But I think that's possible. Genuinely. I'm not saying we're doing it, but I think that's possible. The FA Cup's the wild card in this for me. Before we talk about that word that we're not going to talk about, you know, the Q word. The FA Cup's the one for me that makes it a bit... and do you know what? I'll also admit, I really don't care too much about the FA Cup. I don't know what it is. I've always been a League Cup fan. So yeah, for me, the FA Cup, I'll kind of take it or leave it. But a treble would be amazing. Even if we lost to Newcastle and won the Premier League and the Champions League, that would be a season that I think we talk about forever, you know, especially in modern times. 2 big ones would be absolutely unbelievable. Like, I don't think I'll ever come down from that high if we get that. So, yeah, that's possible. A treble, well, maybe, but I don't know. The quadruple hasn't been done for a reason, so I don't think it's going to be done. But let's see what the FA Cup brings. So the XG for United is Leicester 1.0 and the XG for United is 0.04. 0.04 at home for a first half XG for United against Leicester City in the FA Cup. Wow. The dog days are not over at Old Trafford, ladies and gents. But Craig, what about Arteta's favourite trophy, the Community Shield? You won't have to worry about the Community Shield. Don't worry about that. Arteta won't have to worry about any of that this season. They're out of the FA Cup, beaten by this really poor United side. Do you know what's mad though? It's just the levels of delusion. So I'm going to read out... No, I can't read it out because I don't think I sent it. Actually, I did send it. 1 second. I'm going to read something out to you because I pissed myself laughing with this earlier on. Hang on. Ooh, right, this one. So if you're on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, there's an account on there called @AFC Camden. And this made me lol. Based on my calculations, said this account, right? So based on whatever's going on in his noggin, Liverpool will start gassing out by the end of March. Should be a few drop points before then as well. Just need to stay within 5 to 7 points going into the last 10. Pressure will begin to tell and they'll likely start picking up injuries. This has reached new levels of delusion. They're now trying to just morph injuries into life with will. They're just trying to make them happen. Based on my calculations. What calculations is that exactly? The hope inside your head? On my calculations. Nobody on social media. Based on my calculations, Liverpool will start gassing out by the end of March. He won't have to worry about that because we'll be far and away by the end of March. So, Arsenal fans again, even though we've seen more than half the season now where they have delivered nothing, not one run of a month where they haven't dropped points, all of a sudden they think a little warm weather trip to Dubai and they're going to come back and become prime Barcelona and go on a win that nobody will be able to live with them on. Do they ever wake up from their delusion? Or even like... And I'm not asking them to give us credit. I'm just asking them to be realistic. Like, they've shown no indication whatsoever that they're going to go on any run. And here they are yet again, talking about based on my calculations. Well, based on my calculations, you're shy. You're welcome. Adam. Klopp should be invited to the trophy celebrations. Absolutely not. I am so against that. It's not even funny. Do you not know how undermining that would be to Arne Slot? It would be no. It's just a silly idea. Jurgen had his time at Liverpool. Jurgen celebrated as he could when we won the league. It was difficult, but this is Arne's team now. And the idea of bringing Klopp or anybody else just doesn't sit right with me because it's Arne's team. And if we win the league, it will be because of the players and the coach. And yes, Jurgen played a part in bringing this group together. But the difference has been that Arne has managed the squad better, in my opinion, with regards to the injuries or overplaying people. It's not Klopp's team anymore, you know. So let Klopp enjoy what he's doing with Red Bull. But no, it's Arne's team. He shouldn't be anywhere near it, in my opinion. Just my opinion, though. Maybe you disagree. Much love, Craig. Let's win them all. And by the way, Adam, thank you as well, man, for being with us 14 months as a member. And Scott Engerson as well, 11 months as a member. Scott, thank you. Much love to you as well, bro. Appreciate you. It's Klopp's team. But it isn't. It isn't Klopp's team. You know, Klopp had the same team last year and we didn't win the league. Right? Like, let's be fair about it. We had the same team last year, we didn't win the league. So, it's Arne's team. Klopp's players, but he's made the tweaks, in my opinion, that has made the difference for us this season. And look, you can talk about the injuries as well, but I will also include that I think that's part of his work with Ruben Peters as well. So, yeah, for me, no, it's Arne Slot's team. And look, I guarantee you Jurgen wouldn't want to come. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean, he'd know. He wouldn't want to take the limelight off Arne Slot. So yeah, let's just allow Arne to have his moment if, of course, we get that league title. Right, if Saliba joined Trent at Real, it'd help the pain a bit, said Ryan White. And Ryan, thank you, mate, for being with us 9 months as a member. We're going to move on to Trent in a minute, right? So we're having a conversation around Virgil at the minute and what people think his wages should be. So we've got a quiet night. So when we get up to 500 votes, we'll knock the Virgil wages on the head. So you've got 4 options. Do not renew. And whoever clicked that button, come on now. 250k a week, 200 grand a week, or 300 grand a week. We need another 75 votes to get 500. And then we will see what you guys think a fair wage would be. I think he's the easiest one to get done as well, by the way. And I think, right, we've often had these conversations around pressure going on to the other players. So when that story from Anfield Edition about the 2 lads agreeing their extensions and not wanting to announce it, it got me thinking quite a bit. And I think that Virgil would set the tone. Get your captain to renew. I think you could sell that, right? Even if it was just the one of them, you could make that announcement, you could sell that idea and show leadership. The captain's done it. He sorted out his deal. He's staying. Who's next? So that's what I'd like to see anyway. 370k for VVD. I cannot see the club giving him more than Mohamed Salah is on. I just can't. Look, I would agree that elsewhere in the world, Virgil could probably get that number. Even elsewhere in Europe, Virgil could probably get that number. But we know it's highly unlikely we're going to see Liverpool come up with that type of money for Virgil. You know, it just is what it is in that regard. Adam, how are you, bro? Said, Virgil should get a raise no matter what. Love you, Craig. Thank you, bro. Much love right back to you. So, you know what, Adam? I have to kind of roll myself back a bit here because for the longest time, even at the start of this season, I was saying I don't like the idea of Mohamed Salah or Virgil getting a pay rise. And I want to revise that a little bit because I think Virgil deserves one. But I would stick with Mohamed Salah being on the money he's on now if I was Liverpool. But I have to say, man, I think I can justify in my head now that Virgil should get a pay rise. You're right. I agree with you. Because he's been so good. So good. Better than last year, in my opinion. And, you know, I think, yes, give Virgil a pay rise. And I also think the idea of him falling away, it's far safer to put the years or the money into Virgil because he doesn't rely on anything that may fall away. The only thing that I think could make Virgil fall away a bit is injuries. And other than his ACL, he's been pretty bulletproof. And he's come back from that and got back to the very top level again. So, yeah, for Virgil, I think a pay rise isn't unfair. And also, as many of you have said as well, Dave Cooper and a few others, he's pivotal to everything we do now. And for all the talk that I said about Virgil and me not seeing the leader in him, this season under Arne, I take every word of that back. Because I think he's developed into a better leader now. I think he's grasped it a bit more and tried to drag people with him a bit more. And look at last night against Richarlison, the shithousery from Virgil. That was absolutely top notch. And I'm here for that. That's captaincy material, Virgil. So yes, well in, Virg. Did you see it? But if you don't know what I'm talking about, one of the battles he had with Richarlison, he put his hand out to give Richarlison a hand up and then pulled his hand away last second. And I'm here for that, Virgil. I am here for that, sir. Right, have we got to the 500 votes yet? Only 9 more to go, and then we're there. So, very pleasantly, surprisingly for me, we seem to be on the same wavelength here around numbers. So far, 55% are at a specific number, and I will unveil all once we make the 500 votes, and we are almost there. Couple more to go. One more to go. Let's go. Come on. If you haven't voted, there we are. Right, so 54% of you guys think that Virgil should get £250,000 per week. £300,000 a week was in second place with 35%. And 200k a week or no pay rise, 7%. And 2% of people aren't Liverpool fans is what I'm taking from the last one. So most people think 250 for Virgil. And remember, in all of these numbers that we're going to talk about tonight, for all three gentlemen, they will all get a lump sum as well, because they're basically signing a new deal because the contract is up. So there will be, I'm sure, a loyalty payment or a lump sum payment in there to come to them as well. No idea what type of numbers they might be talking, but I'm sure that there'll be a handy few million quid there for them on top of it, because they would get that if they went elsewhere, and Liverpool are going to have to pay that as well. Sharon Evans said, totally agree. I was not in favour of Virgil as captain, but he's really impressed me. Same, Sharon, you know. I'm never afraid to put my hands up if I change my mind on something. And Virgil's captaincy, I am absolutely seeing the benefits of now. I just think him and Arne as well, just such a great fit. You know, Klopp was a great fit with everybody, but I don't know. I just feel everything now is good. We're in a good place on the pitch. The manager's in a great place. It's just a great time to be a Liverpool fan at the minute, isn't it? So look, let's move into the Mo situation now. And we'll ask Mohamed Salah's situation. Right, so one sec. Okay, so that's option 1. Option 2. I'll give the same last option. Right, so again, 4 options here. What wages should Salah get? So 350 grand a week, which would be no pay rise, because that's roughly what we believe he's on now. 400k per week or above 400k per week. And then the last one is do not renew, just in case, you know, there's anybody that doesn't think he deserves to be extended. Mukarab said, if I'm honest, I prefer Robbo as captain. I think the issue with that might be in the modern Liverpool, in Arne Slot's Liverpool, does Robbo play enough to have as captain? Because he's been rotated a bit this season with Costas. So, and we also don't know if Robbo's going to be at the club next year. Now, I personally think he will be. I think it'll be Costas that'll likely move on. But, yeah, let me know what you think. So the poll is up anyway. Do vote away on it. Peter said, I see lots of people saying Van Dijk should have got a red card last night. What clown saying that? Well, this will show you, Peter, how anti-Liverpool everybody else is, right? So that poll was up on the Sky Sports app, talking about the incident and asking, should Virgil have seen a red? So I voted on it, and obviously I voted on no, thinking, well, this is going to be a straightforward landslide. 53% of people said Virgil should have been sent off in this poll, and I guarantee you that at least 40% of that are just people who don't want Liverpool to win. And it could have been any question, and as long as it was against Liverpool, they would have voted on it. So that's my take on it. It was not even nearly a red card, in my opinion. And that, look, I will also admit openly that I absolutely despise Richarlison Pigeon and everything about him. So, I have very little sympathy for him because I don't think he's helped himself over the years. And also, you're going up against Virgil van Dijk in a physical battle. You're only going to come out on the wrong end of that. So, learn your lesson there. Yeah, pay that man his money. That's from Rounders, that film. I see somebody in the chat saying in a Russian accent. Yeah, it was John Malkovich in Rounders. Pay that man his fucking money. Check, 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 check all day. Check, 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 check. Sorry, I love that film. Threatened 2024 said there has to be some balance between the old guards' contracts and signing new players. Of course, the players are primarily interested in their salaries, but FSG won't fund both outcomes. So what I think usually happens is, if you come into Liverpool in and around the, let's say, 30 to 40 million mark, you're going to get a wage that's okay, but is highly incentivised. And we've spoken about this a few times on the channel, and there's part of the video we did with Mo Chatra as well. And then when you get to the stages of a Virgil or a Mo or a Firmino beforehand or a Mane, then you start to get delivered the big wages, the basic big wages, because you've earned the right for those wages. And do you know what? As much as I've been critical of FSG for a lot of stuff over the years, the wage structure and the way that the club have done it and not paying out ridiculous salaries until people have earned them, I've never had any problem with that, because I think it's common sense to incentivise people to make more money by success. And I think that's fair dues. And for the lads that are now there, like who are due renewals, you're going to have to pay them because they've earned it. One of them is breaking goal scoring records, and the other one's our captain, who's having an unbelievable season and has marshalled Liverpool to the latter stages of everything. So, yeah, the Trent one is a difficult one, though, because I don't know. We'll move on to it in a minute, but I just don't know where we are with the Trent situation. I haven't got a clue how to get a read on it. Right, so keep voting away. So what wages should Salah get? 350k per week with so that's no pay rise. 400k per week, above 400k per week, or do not renew. Sell, sell, sell. Well, you can't sell players whose contracts are up. Let's just use some common sense for a second. So you'd let them all walk away. I refuse to believe you're a Liverpool fan and say that. Like, maybe one of them you can make an argument. I think X or Y should be let go, blah, blah, blah. But all of them? Nah, come on, that's just silly. You're not going to replace Van Dijk. There is no Van Dijk replacement in the world that you could go out tomorrow and buy that would be dropped in and perform to the same level. Or anywhere near that level, actually. Sim said, renew, then sell. You see, that's been something that I've always been open to the idea of, particularly around Mohamed Salah. So, the club's fear with Mo has been that maybe he drops off. They don't want an Aubameyang, a Mesut Ozil situation, Alexis Sanchez situation. But, like you've said there, renew him. And, even if it meant cancelling his contract in a year or two's time, if it wasn't working out and he wanted to move on, fine. That's at least my simplistic view of it as a fan. Now, I'm sure Rami Abbas or Mohamed Salah would have other thoughts on that. But, for me, if in 18 months' time there is a decline in Mo and Saudi are still interested and he wanted the move, just come to an agreement to rip up the contract and allow him to head off. Or take a small transfer fee, as you've said. I think you could find a way to not have the wages as a noose around your neck if you do extend. And he didn't work out. Raging Cajun said, "Hey Craig, how are you feeling after yesterday's performance?" I'm buzzing, man. Really happy about it. Really didn't get much sleep, as I said at the start of the stream, because I'm so happy. That was a performance that I've been waiting for all season. And people will try to downplay it by saying how bad Spurs were. And, that's fair enough to some extent, but you can't deny how hungry we were, how good we were, and how every single one of those gents last night showed up and put in a great shift. Right away from the back line all the way through to the front line. Every single one of them worked their backside off and deserved all the credit, because they gave Spurs nothing, not a sniff. One of my favourite aspects of the game was just the midfielders just closing down, winning the balls back, hunting in 2s and 3s when they lost it. It was a joy to watch. Semi-final of a cup and Spurs didn't have a shot on target. It's just a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant performance. Irfan said, "Craig, do you think Chiesa starts versus Plymouth Argyle on Sunday?" I do, mate, yes. I recorded the preview earlier on. It's coming out tomorrow because I'm taking the day off. So there'll be a news video and then the preview tomorrow. And Chiesa was in the starting 11 that I went with, yeah. I want Salah to win the Ballon d'Or with us. Extend it, said Marcus. Yeah, it would be very weird if he won the Ballon d'Or, but he wasn't here, wouldn't it? So, let's say he had an incredible season with us, maybe wins a double or something, and then he won it, but he was elsewhere. Yeah, I'd feel hard done by in that one, mate. I'm with you. If you want to see him up there still representing Liverpool, should indeed he win a Ballon d'Or. David Newell's comment makes me smile. Said, "If Vardy can play at 39 on a diet of Red Bull and chewing tobacco, then Salah can go until 40 at least." Maybe. Yeah, maybe. It's the Virgil for me. I just think I can see that man playing till he's 38, 39, no problem, at a very, 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 very high level. And I mean any team competing for the Champions League level. Guillermo said, 100% Chiesa starts on Sunday and I'm ready to bet my house on it. I agree with you, man. I think he starts as well. I found it very difficult to put a team together, though, because I was trying to make sure we can leave out and rest as many people as possible. But I had to get VVD into my team. I had no other way than putting VVD into my team in the end, because Tyler Morton is injured. And I'm going to read out that to you now, actually, just in case you hadn't seen it. Where is this bit of news here on Tyler Morton? Where's the comment from Arna? Sorry, folks. Bear with me. I don't think I have to... Oh, there we go, yeah. So, Arna Slot, speaking about Tyler Morton, said, "Tyler Morton is out with an injury for a while, so that means he was maybe our 6th midfielder, and James McConnell has taken that position now. So it's him doing well, and the injury to Morton." He said, "Tyler Morton's injury, I'm allowed to say it's a shoulder, 4 weeks or longer." So when I found out Tyler Morton was injured, it made the team selection much more difficult for me. So I had to get Virgil into my team selection, because I couldn't see a way to put the team together without him in there. Gomez hasn't even been in the last 2 matchday squads, which is incredibly difficult to see, to be fair, because Joe's been such a great servant, but he's fit, he's available, but he just hasn't been in the last 2 matchday squads whatsoever. So we got that news then. Cody Gakpo, let's give Cody his flowers. He's scored now 9 goals in his last 8 starts at Anfield. Just incredible form for Cody Gakpo. So 9 goals in his last 8 starts at Anfield for him. What have we got here? Right, we still need more votes, by the way, to get up to the 500. So if you haven't voted on what wages you think Mohamed Salah should get, please do. The vote is pinned to the top of the chat. Well, not pinned, sorry. It's up there at the top of the chat. So, Christian Falk of Build has said, "Liverpool are interested in Xavi Simons, who is expected to leave Leipzig in the summer." I find this weird, though. Didn't he just make that move permanent from PSG to Leipzig? So what's going on there? I don't watch German football that much, so What's happening with him? Why isn't it working out? Or was the plan always to kind of make the deal permanent and then look to make a profit on him by moving him on somewhere? I can't see where he fits in at Liverpool unless we were to, heaven forbid, lose Mohamed Salah or something. But I don't know. I've never been convinced by Xavi Simons that he would make it at Liverpool. I've never been convinced that he'd be good enough. For me, I'd pass, but it's because he's too good for Leipzig. But then why did he make the move? You know, when he was on loan, I could understand it. But if he's moved there now full-time from PSG, why make the move? Because I'm sure he could have gotten a move to a club in the Premier League or Serie A or somewhere else. So, you know, if he's too good for Leipzig, well, they're not having a great season. So, you know, he's hardly setting the world on fire. They were terrible in the Champions League. So, Arne Slot had asked this question about Virgil van Dijk. I hope that I can work with him for a long time. I don't know how that's a question, Craig, in your mind. But he said, I hope I can work with him for a long time. And then we'd seen last night that Virgil's agent was there at the game last night, sitting near Richard Hughes. So, interesting one there. Is that a good sign? Well, it can't be a bad sign that they were at least there in the same vicinity. You would imagine he's in for some talks. A couple of super chats to get through. Sudeep, thank you, my friend. Said, I'm having Irish Jemison. Nice. Listening to your content, sitting in India at 2:47 a.m, having a tough time with my heart. It's getting motionless, but my only solace is Liverpool. When you say I'm having a tough time with my heart, I hope you mean from a relationship standpoint or something. I hope you're not lashing down Jemison with a heart defect or something. I only want the best for you, my friend. So, enjoy the whiskey. Glad you're in with us, but make sure you look after yourself, bro. We don't want, you know, anything happening to you. And also, Jameson, I'm not a whiskey drinker, so I'll have to take your word on that one. I can't stomach whiskey personally. Yeah, not my cup of tea. Dave, how are you, my man? Said, hey Craig, hope you're doing well. We're already saving £300,000 a week from Thiago and Joel's wages, so we should have money to give all three a decent increase. Yeah, we saved, I think the number was 17 or 18 million annually by moving on Adrian, Thiago and Joel Matip. I think it was about 17 or 18 million pound a season. And we haven't brought anybody in really to, you know, take up those wages. Obviously, Mamardashvili's on loan. And then we've brought in Chiesa. So there should still be money in the kitty, as you've said. Great goal line clearance by Leicester. Nice. So they're still keeping United out, are they? So long's left in that one. I mean, if you can't be beating Leicester at home in the FA Cup, lads, just give it up. Because Leicester have been awful this season. And I watched the first half of the game, or most of the first half, and it was one of the most dull, boring, tough to watch games of football, especially for a cup tie, that I've seen in a while. That must mean that the rumour Virgil and Mo have signed new contracts are fake news. It looks that way. Oh, Ash has said 1-1. So we've just got the equaliser there then. There you go. 1-1 in the game. So United have found their equaliser. It's weird. It feels like United almost have to go behind these days before anything happens. Before they wake up or spring into life. It's been a weird one, yeah. Watching them, it's like, alright, when they go down, all of a sudden they start to find a way. Or Ruben Amorim changes tactics up a little bit and starts pushing forward a bit more, and then they always find that goal. Xerxes with the equaliser. Appreciate you guys letting me know that one. Right, let's check back in on this one. Right, we only need 39 more votes to get to 500 on the Mo wage thing, so if you haven't voted, please do. Cunha. Let's talk about Matheus Cunha for a few minutes. So Fabrizio Romano posted this and credited Jay Percy of The Telegraph to say the release clause included in Matheus Cunha's new deal will be £62.5 million. Now, I don't want Liverpool spending that money on Cunha. I gotta be honest, folks. For a lad that's had one good season with Wolves, £62.5 million sounds too much to me for Cunha. I wouldn't want us paying it, in all honesty. I think if you're going to spend upwards of £60 million, there are better options out there in the world for me. You might have to put another few million on top of it, but I would take a pass at 62.5 mil. Mike said, agree on Xavi. He's not good enough for PSG, and we're better than PSG. Exactly. That's kind of my thinking on it as well. But I guess when you've got a Dutch manager, maybe he thinks he could do another Ryan Gravenberch-esque type thing there and bring him in. But I struggle to really believe Christian Falk on anything, to be quite frank. Right, 15 votes to go. And then we're there. Thank you to everyone that's voting, by the way. Appreciate you. Very interesting. I'm intrigued to see where your heads are at with the wages, to be frank. Virgil, I was in agreement with you. 54% of people, by the way, if you weren't with us, said that Virgil should be on about £250,000 a week. With Salah's one, it's very close between two, like 1%. Am I banned? Well, you're posting, and I'm sure you can see your posts, so I think you've answered your own question there, my friend. We're nearly at the 500 votes. One more to go. Right, there we go. Thank you. So, with 1% victory, the solution that you guys think is that Mohamed Salah should get no pay rise, stay on £350,000 a week with 45%. 44% said £400,000 a week. I know it says 43, but it was 44 when I clicked the button. 9% of people think Mohamed Salah should get above 400k per week, and do not renew is 1%. So, interesting. Yeah, I'm probably somewhere between the top two answers, to be honest with you. You would imagine you'd have to have at least an inflationary pay rise built into the contract, but yeah, I think somewhere between those two numbers I think is realistic. I wouldn't be going above the 400k anyway. I think that's too much, to be honest, but thank you for everyone that had their say on that one. And now the last one that we have to do, of course, is Mr. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Right, let's have a look at this one. So, I think we'll start it off at about 200, because I think he's just under the 200 now, I believe. So bear with me on this. Okay. And then the last option. Right, so what should Trent be on per week? 200k, 250k, 300k upwards, or do not renew? And I've got a sneaking suspicion on this one, but I don't want to say what it is. But I have a suspicion that one answer will get more votes than we think. Colin said, agree, too expensive for Cunha. Look, yeah, I don't think he's worth 62.5 million. You know, if Liverpool, let's say, sold Darwin and brought in Cunha, I wouldn't feel confident we've got a huge upgrade there, to be honest with you. Colin said the offers must be crap as they do love the club. Oh, mate, I've no doubt in my mind they're being lowballed at the minute, but I guess the question is, at what stage does one side or the other cave in here? Because, you know, we're running out of months at this point. Ancient one Yog Sorloth, or Sothloth, said, Bradley better defender, already saved money, let Trent go. Lance said do not renew. Carl said do not renew. That was the answer. I was interested to see how people went with it. I was wondering how many were going to click on that one. Stuart Phillips said I voted 250k accidentally. Actually, I'm in favour of do not renew. No worries, bro. Appreciate you making that one clear. Thank you. Dave said Trent on 180k a week. Yeah, I think you're right, Dave. I think that's what he's on at the minute, bro. I think you're right. That is so interesting though. Around the Trent thing. I wonder, like, be honest with me on this, right? If you're somebody who said do not renew for Trent. Now, please do be honest with me, because I'll be honest about it as well. Is some of that based off the fact you think he might be going? Because for me, it would be. You know, I'm kind of preparing myself for Trent going. So I'm kind of like, well, feck him, we've got Bradley and we could save this amount of money or yada, yada, yada. For me, there's definitely a large portion of my thought process that comes in from fear. If I felt more confident about it, I think I'd probably be thinking a little bit differently about it. But yeah, I'm wondering, it kind of the whole, you know, I didn't want it anyway kind of vibe. Muckrab said, Craig, my anger is less and less at Hughes and more at the owners. I'm thinking they're giving him a tiny budget for all the wage increases. I truly don't know, Muckrab, but I've always had a little fear or suspicion that he'd be almost, I won't say happy, but Edwards would be more open to the idea of losing Salah and Virgil than maybe you or I would be, even if it meant maybe a year or two of transition for Liverpool, where the players that he feels can come in and eventually replace them, get us back up to that level. So what I'm scared of as a Liverpool fan is the idea that we once again maybe win a league title and then don't go or look likely to go and back that up the following season. Because I'd love to see a real 2-year transition period to the next Virgil, to the next Mohamed Salah, or whomever the successors are. I don't want us to fall off and be third or fourth next year after winning a league title. Because the real sign of greatness for me would be to try and go back to back. You know, we've won one league title in my adult lifetime supporting the club. We're looking good for another one this year. But these isolation wins just feels weird. Like, it almost feels like you're adding fuel to other fans' points that these are because other teams fell off, or these are because X and Y happened, or this team had injuries in 1 year. If you win it back to back, there's no doubt. Nobody can come at you. Nobody can try and call it a COVID title or a PGMOL title or whatever title. Do it back to back and the excuses are gone. And that's really what I'd love for this group, because I think they deserve it. As a group of players, for what they've done over the years and how close they've been to City, and I think that, you know, they deserve back-to-back titles. So that's why I'm so worried that we get these contract extensions done, because that gives us a really good chance then to add in the couple more bits of quality we need and be ready to go. Chris, thank you, Chris, for your super chat, man. Appreciate you. Chris said, all right, Craig, hope you're well. 250k enough for Trent, but he's one out of the 3 contracts that I'm the least fussed about. Got to keep Mo and VVD. I'm kind of with you, Chris, but I also know that while I admit that, I'm thinking shorter term by admitting that. Because Trent's only 26. So, you know, he could have 5, 6 years, 7 years left at the top level with Liverpool. But I do agree, in the shorter term, I think losing one of the other two would have a bigger impact on us than losing Trent. And look, I've always been a huge fan of Conor Bradley as well. So I've always been supportive of the idea of him taking that position. Sudeepta said, yes, Craig, it's heartbreak. Thank you for being caring. Hope we get a landslide victory at Goodison like we did in 21-22. And I apologise for sharing personal stuff. Hope it didn't hamper the mood. Mate, we are here for you. I was just concerned about your health. Look, man, I remember my own first love breakup. I was about 18. 17, 18. And it hit like a truck, man. And I, you know, as a young man that time, I hit the drink at that point with my mates, you know, just to kind of get over it. But it doesn't help. You know, you're just going to wake up tomorrow with the same feeling, but a hangover. So, you know, what I've always tried to say to my kids is acknowledge your feelings. Feel them. Let them work themselves out. If you're heartbroken, that's okay. Be heartbroken. Acknowledge it. Feel it. Let yourself recover gradually. But, you know, I'm just happy to hear that it isn't a medical issue, mate. But you never have to worry about bringing the vibe down. You're part of our community and we're here for you, my man. Where is my favourite Canadian? Here he is. How are we, Fritz Frank? Sorry, I didn't mean to show no love to other Canadians there, by the way. But Fritz Frank always leaves the same comment on every video and it always makes me smile. Thanks for the content. You know, you might not think I see them all, mate, but I do. Pay rises for everyone. It's not my money. Feck FSG, the cheap Clints, said Fritz Frank. Pay rises all around. The Milky Bars are on Fritz Frank. You wouldn't get a job with FSG with that attitude, bro. Do you know what I mean? You go into John for the interview and sit there with pay rises for everybody. You'd be like, get out the bleeding door. You're gone. Collins, I love the channel. Off to work now. Thanks all. Enjoy, my man. Well, it's work. You're not going to enjoy, are you? Sorry. Have a good day. Is probably what I should have said. Where's the money, John? Oh, them t-shirts are coming, by the way. We're working on what we like the font and idea to be at the minute. But I'm telling you, I'm not joking. We are going to release Where's the Money, John t-shirts on Anfield Agenda. And it'll be linked to our YouTube account. So it'll be easy for anyone to get their hands on one. Because I think it's just a bit of fun. I often wonder what people mean or think I mean when I say where's the money, John. Like, you could, I guess, interpret that loads of different ways. So, do I mean where's the money for transfers, John? Do I mean where's the money, John, because I think they're hiding money or they're moving money away? I want to make it really clear. When I say where's the money, John, I'm not accusing them of doing anything dodgy or hiding money or taking Liverpool money and selling it to the Red Sox. I'm just asking sincerely, where's the money? As in, why aren't we seeing it spent on transfers? That's when I say where's the money, that's what I mean. I'm not in any way trying to say he's hiding money or anything like that, because I've been very clear about my take on that. I don't believe any money from Liverpool is headed over to Boston, to the Red Sox or anything. I don't. But I do think that this idea that we don't have wiggle room to spend is absolute poo-poo of the highest order. Also, got confirmation yesterday that we will have a full Anfield Agenda reunion for the live show in Liverpool on May 28th. So the tickets are going to go on sale for that at the start of March. And on the night, Chris Stonage is going to do my first ever interview of me live. Then we're going to have myself, Connor, Jack 6-0 Gill, Chris Stonage and Steve Bland all together for a big panel chat at the show as well. It's going to be an end of season party. We've timed it what we believe to be in a very clever way. So the league finishes on the end of May. I think the last league game is the 25th of May, if I'm not mistaken. And then the Champions League final is the following weekend. So our live show in Liverpool is bang smack right in the middle of it on the Wednesday between the last league game and the Champions League final. So hopefully you guys can come along and have some fun. Because we're certainly going to put on a high energy, fun show. And yeah, we think you guys are going to enjoy it because we're going to have some fun. And we're going to get the band back together for one show. Heck said, this club brings in a lot of money that isn't reinvested. So I'm genuinely baffled at the whole money situation. And, you know, that's why when I spoke with Mo Chatra recently about it all, it was very interesting to see that, you know, somebody who understands these things better than I has similar questions. So, yeah. Right, let's move on to the Carabao Cup, WhoScored best performing 11 of the round of fixtures, so the semi-finals. So in this, you'll notice a trend here. And the trend is that there isn't one single Arsenal player or Spurs player in this WhoScored team of the week. And why would there be? In goal, they've gone with Martin Dubravka. A back three of Dan Burn, Virgil van Dijk and Sven Botman. Then it's an all Liverpool middle four of Robbo, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and Bradley. And then an all Liverpool front three of Gakpo, Nunes and Salah. So 8 Liverpool players in the WhoScored Carabao Cup team of the week. Absolutely spot on. Can't argue about any of the Liverpool includees. You know, Gakpo, Nunez, Salah, Robbo, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Bradley and Virgil all in there and all deserving of it as well. Martinelli is out for over a month. Yes, I was going to bring that one up. Thank you for reminding me. So yes, Gabriel Martinelli scans reveal that he's going to be out for about a month. So that's another knock to Arsenal. And they're already struggling for bodies at this point. So I mentioned to you guys that Rio has been added to Liverpool's Champions League squad, as Arne Slot's made a couple of little tweaks to it for the round of 16 onwards. Liverpool's new confirmed Champions League squad is as follows. Goalkeepers, Alisson Becker, Kevin Kelleher and Vidislav Jaros. Defenders that have been selected for the squad. Gomez, Van Dijk, Kanade, Costas, Robbo, Nallo and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now remember, Nallo is suspended technically for the first leg of the last 16 because he was sent off against Eindhoven. Midfielders, Wataru Endo, Dominic Szoboszlai, McAllister, Jones, Gravenberch, Tyler Morton and Trey Neone. So even though Tyler Morton's out for 4 to 6 weeks, he has of course been included there for the remainder of the campaign in the Champions League. Then the forwards are Diaz, Nunez, Salah, Chiesa, Gakpo, Jota and Young Rio. So that is Liverpool's confirmed Champions League squad for the round of 16 onwards. Why does Slot not play Chiesa? I think he's just trying to get him up to speed. And I've got a little bit of a weird theory that probably doesn't make sense, but it kind of does in my head. So we'd seen Chiesa play the full game against PSV Eindhoven. I think we're going to see him play the full game or close to the full game. You're right, I didn't say Bradley because he's not on that list that the Echo put out. You were absolutely spot on, by the way. I didn't say his name because it wasn't on the list that the Echo posted. So this, I'm sure, is just a very uncommon mistake from the Echo. But yes, he will be on that list, you're right. But he isn't. So yeah, there you go. I'm imagining it's just an uncharacteristic journalistic error. But you are right, you should be there. So yeah, sorry, where was I going with that last one? My point. I believe that he played him against PSV Eindhoven and he's going to play him against Plymouth because he's trying to increase the intensity and the level of opponent as he goes up. This is at least my thought process on it. So I think we'll see him play against Plymouth and then I think we start to see him increased more and more. And some options. So yeah, hang on, actually the reason I think, bear with me, the reason I think some names are missing from this list is because they qualify for the B list because they've been homegrown and brought through. So that's why the names that we're thinking about, your Bradleys, your Kwanzas, that's why I don't think they're on that list. Because these are names that Liverpool don't have to put forward because they fall into the homegrown category, if you get me. That makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. So it probably wasn't a mistake. It probably is absolutely fair play. The likes of Kwanzaa, as you've mentioned, and others. So Nallo has become over 18 now, so he doesn't fall into the academy player structure. So yeah, I think it's actually that, what we've pointed out there. But well played. Well played. Good spot. So yeah, I think all those players you've mentioned, Kwanzaa, Bradley, Elliott, all of them probably fall under the homegrown or B list. Leicester should try sit back and take it, depends. Well, it must be what? Last 10? Right, so here's the full list, including everybody. So goalkeepers, Alisson, Kelleher, Jaros. Defenders, Van Dijk, Kanade, Gomez, Nallo, Trent, Robbo, Costas. Midfielder, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch, Jones, Endo, Morton, Neone. Forward, Salah, Diaz, Gakpo, Nunez, Jota, Chiesa, Nyamoha. Then notable under 21s, Davies, Kwanzaa, Bradley, Elliott, McConnell. So they come in the under 21s category there for the Reds, which is why they didn't have to be included in the initial squad list because they're eligible to play. So there we go. We've cleared that one up. And thank you to Mark for sending that list on to me. Zane said, regarding Chiesa, is because Salah cannot be rotated for any game, meaning we'll realise when he's gone. I don't think that's the case because if you look at where Chiesa plays throughout his career, at Juventus, he actually played the majority of his games as a centre forward. Now, he does consider himself a winger, you know. But if you look back at his performances for Juventus, he played the majority of his games through the centre, believe it or not. Well, I say the majority, sorry. Of the 3 forward positions, the one he played in the most was through the centre. So, yeah, I don't think that really holds up, because you could also throw Chiesa on the left-hand side through the centre. So, you know, look, I'm not saying my theory is right, but at least I can make some sense of it in my head. Craig, I watch your content a lot, and you speak like Salah is replaceable, which is factually not true. He's not same level as VVD. They can both count 36. When did I ever once say Salah is replaceable? Ever? Genuinely, like, I think I've made video after video after video where I've said the thing, and I use this phrase because I have it memorised and I say it all the time. I don't think Salah can be replaced as a like-for-like with one player. I think you're going to have to share the goals around, and whoever comes in to replace Mohamed Salah in the future won't do Mo numbers. I'm absolutely certain that that's what I say over and over and over again. So I never say Salah's replaceable, because he isn't. So I'm always happy to be held to account for the stuff I say, but this is one that you've got wrong, mate, and not me, because I never say he's replaceable. So, you know, just being fair about it, because he isn't replaceable in a like-for-like way. There isn't anybody in world football. So, yeah. Again, I don't know where these things come. Like, some people even try to have a pop at me about Szoboszlai, when I've been defending Szoboszlai all season and trying to say I think people are looking for something that hasn't been there. So, on this one, man, you're wrong. I think Salah isn't replaceable by any one player. And I would say that even if I had a blank check right now to go out and bring in a Salah replacement, because nobody's going to come in and do those numbers. Whoever his eventual long-term replacement will be, I think it's just going to have to form part of an attacking unit, and the goals get shared around. So, yeah. Hope it clears it up anyway. I never want to have an argument or fall out with anyone, but I definitely haven't said what you said there. And you said fair enough, mate. All good, my man, all good. Anyway, look, for this season, do we think he's going to get the 20 assists to get the 20 plus goals and the assists? Surely he does, right? Because Thierry Henry isn't it the one with the 20 goals, 20 assists minimum? And I think Salah, I think he does the assist part this season. The numbers are ridiculous though, aren't they? That penalty he took last night. In fact, I go as far as to say his last 2 penalties, I think, are 2 of his best penalties he's taken in a Liverpool shirt. And that one last night was, I think, my favourite ever Mohamed Salah penalty for Liverpool. So sexy, top corner. In fact, I worried when I seen it leave his boot that it was going to go over or hit the bar. But wow, what a strike. No goalkeeper saving that. None. In fact, I think I remember Vladimir Smicer saying at one of the shows, the former player shows that I went to, that there's some statistic or something that if the ball goes over the goalkeeper's shoulder height, I think it is, there's something like an 80% chance of that ending up in a goal from a penalty. I'm sure Vladimir Smicer said that at one of the shows we were at. Giannis, how are you, my man? Said, in 3 years, Salah will be second in goals scored and assists. Unheard of. The man is a king, an icon, and approaching King Kenny levels. Sign Salah. I don't disagree with you. I would disagree with you on the King Kenny levels, because that goes deeper than what was done on the pitch with Kenny. Nobody's getting near Kenny, ever. Nobody. It's just not possible. Because of everything that happened around Hillsborough and what he was there for the families and everything else, nobody's getting near Kenny. They just aren't. But you're right, after that, Salah. Oh, United won it 2-1, did they? They got a late winner. Look, it's the cup. It's what happens. Leicester sat back on their 1-goal lead, and United go and got their win. I hope we draw them in the next round. I wouldn't say no. Get United at Anfield in the FA Cup. Right, so we've had the votes now on Trent, and we asked, what should Trent be on per week? 56%, so the highest voted for one was £250,000 a week is a wage that people feel Trent should be on. 200k per week was second with 17%. 300k upwards per week with 16% was third. And do not renew was 10%, which is by far and away the highest we've seen from a do not renew so far, the 3 contracts. Eli said, King Kenny has the stand named after him. I could see Mo getting a statue of the yoga pose outside the ground. 100% Mo deserves recognition when he hangs up the boots. Absolutely. What that recognition looks like, whether it's a statue or whatever, you know, that's for the club to decide, I guess, in the future. Oh, so scabby with this. They got an offside goal. There's no VAR. Ouch. I'm sure Leicester fans are going to love that one. That's a mad. Yeah, I guess that's the other argument of VAR, right? Would have had a goal there that wouldn't have counted, but does count because, as we always say, the officials are shit. Wow. This doesn't add, by the way, anything to the referee conversation, because I haven't seen this incident, but if it's as offside as people are saying, again, you see why I constantly tell you that English referees and linos are just not good enough. And they have VAR to help them a lot of the time, and they still come up with wrong decisions occasionally. But look, United have won 2-1, game over there, so they're into the next round. And hopefully we make our way in on Sunday. But you know what? I don't care about the FA Cup. I really don't. If we were to get knocked out of it, I really don't care. Because for me, it's the 2 big ones that I'm most concerned about. Champions League, Premier League. They're the ones that, to me, give you the nod of whether it's a good season, a successful season or not. Ash said he looked at least a foot offside from what he saw. Well, look, goal was given. United win. Leicester go home. And it is what it is. Jaden said, it's part of the quad. I want to win it all. Alan, there's no VAR in the FA Cup, I believe, until all sides in it have VAR inside the ground, as in all Premier League sides are left. Open to being corrected on that, but they feel like it would be unfair to have VAR in some grounds and not in others, if you get me, in the FA Cup. Alpha said, that's a shambles, not even a tight offside, it's miles off. Yep. So what's going to happen now is Leicester fans will be angry, understandably so. 1 or 2 gobshites will go too far and start sending the usual disgusting stuff. Then we'll get the conversations around referees not being treated nicely, but nobody will ever seem to have the conversations that they're not very good. And that's the part of all these referees conversations that annoys me. You've brought in VAR to help them. They're still not good enough. Now, in a game with no VAR, they make a huge mistake, and all the highlights will be on any potential abuse and not the fact that the ref just didn't do his job well enough. And that should be the context of these conversations for me, is the level of the officials just not being good enough. Right, anyway. Let's get back to a few other bits and pieces here that I had. So, Arne Slot, speaking about the Aston Villa game being moved, said, we want to compete for every trophy and competition, so we cannot complain about the amount of games. I don't see an advantage. Sunday, Wednesday, Villa probably do the same. It is what it is. I said 3 days ago that if you are a club that plays so many games, then you have to have 22, 23 players. To go into a game with 20, no problem. But you want to create something and give academy players a chance once in a while. It's a big problem for academy players. If I have 23 players yesterday, then maybe McConnell or Rio play a little bit. It's not a disadvantage for smaller clubs. I don't have 9 great subs and then 12 great subs. It's just chances for younger players like every other league in Europe. So Arne feels like we've said during the week, there should be 23-man squads, and the reason they're being is to give some of the academy players a run through. And I agree with what he's saying. It would have been lovely for McConnell or Rio to get a few minutes there last night against Spurs. What else is this one about? So Arne Slot also speaking about the players' family lives, by the way. And he said, I can't compare how it was, but I see them as human beings as well as working hard here at the AXA Training Centre and during games. But if you want to keep going all season, because they never have 2 weeks off, at certain moments they have to be at home as well to be a father and a husband. If you're only a player for 15 years with only 3 weeks off, and you can't be a father or husband for just 3 weeks a year, it's not normal. What does he say then? Sorry, where was I? We take that into account. People tell me about this. That you always sleep better in your own bed than a hotel. And sleep is the best part possible of a performance. So the argument for them being at home is that they also get better prepared for the game. I have no reason not to believe these people if you use common sense. And I agree. I am somebody that cannot sleep well when I'm not in my own bed at home. So yeah, I agree with Arne on that one. Let the lads sleep at home where possible with their families and get a good night's sleep. Will you be watching the Super Bowl this weekend? Hopefully. I have to be up early on Monday to bring my son somewhere, but I'll hopefully be able to watch it. I should be able to. I think I should be able to watch it. I'm looking forward to it. Right, Manchester City. Let's talk about these people. So, Times newspaper reported Manchester City have escalated their battle with the Premier League after launching a fresh legal challenge against the new sponsorship rules they claim are also unlawful. Every week I find a new reason to despise that club. And at the moment, it seems to me that Manchester City are just trying to blow up the league or cause as many problems and frustrations to everybody else and cost everybody as much money as possible in fighting all their legal battles. And I'm sick of them. I honestly hope they eventually get held to account and we don't have to listen to this crap, because it's it's tiring constantly seeing them picking legal battles and the tyranny of the majority. Wasn't that their phrase? Heck said, if Man City hate the Premier League so much, then they can leave, right? Exactly. It just feels like they're always trying to divide the clubs, divide and conquer, break the rules, change the rules. It's just so grinding, and it's such a poor look for the league as well. Sharon said, Arne is so impressive in all aspects of what he's doing with the players. Press, training, he is amazing. Yes, I've been nothing but impressed, Sharon, since he's come in. It's been a joy, honestly, to watch him come in and put his own stamp on the team. And I'm glad to see as well that this whole attempted narrative of us being boring has been put to bed, because I've never found it boring. I found it a little bit more strategic, a little bit more balanced under Arne. Maybe a little few certain less risks in transition on occasion, because I've always said that we are our weakest when we're in possession. You know, how many goals have we seen over the years when we've given away a slack pass in midfield, or we're trying to transition forward and we're committing bodies and then we have to turn around again because we've misplaced the pass. So I think we've been a bit more balanced under Arne, and I'm all for it. Premier League should kick them out until they can follow the rules. These are the rules everybody signed up for as well, which again makes me laugh. You know, you signed into a competition under rules and you agreed to work and abide by these rules. Now all of a sudden there's, it's illegal always. Let's try and find a way that we can somehow justify more sponsorship money or more third party transaction money. Did you watch the interview with Hendo talking about the move to Monaco? I wouldn't say I'd seen the whole interview, mate, but I did see bits and pieces from it. And I felt like, again, I don't know the story well enough about what happened and what didn't happen, but looking at it, I felt like he came across very bitter and very single-minded. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing about the single-minded thing, I don't know. But yeah, I didn't enjoy it. Yeah, it just felt weird, to be honest, looking at it. They're showing the offside line and 4 Manchester United players are offside in the winning goal. I'm sure Darren McGallagher will find some way of coming on to, justify the linesman's decision or something, And then the fans will get blamed for daring to call out the stupidity of the officials. Thoughts on Papalou from Valencia? Don't know anything about him, to be honest with you. Yeah, don't know. I only check in on Valencia occasionally just to see how our boy is getting on. But yeah, I can't say I've paid much attention. What did you think of Tell's debut yesterday? It's hard to really make any judgment on it because, Spurs were in no way in that game yesterday. And, I've seen a few articles today to suggest that Tell's already looking at the possibility of going to a different club and not signing up for the 60 million or whatever the option that Spurs have in there. But, I don't know. He's Valencia's best player, a DM. As I said, I don't know. I mean, I'll have to take other people's words for it because I've not watched them or paid attention to them, so I haven't got a clue. Right, a couple of likes. If you could do me a favour, there's 830 people in. If we can hit that like button, would appreciate it. And as you can see, we're now only 335 away from 298k. This last few thousand has been, it's been so difficult to get over the line and get those last few thousand subs. So, hoping we can get there before the end of February. Get to the magical 300k. Hex said, I don't know how Ange hasn't been sacked at this point. It just isn't working. It's tough to know because there's no denying they have a ton of injuries. And they've been really unlucky with that. But on the other side, yeah, I mean, how many whoopings have they got this season? How open have they looked at times defensively? And it's damaging for some of the younger players, I would say, as well, like Archie Gray, who's coming in. But not my place to say on Postecoglou. Just makes me feel grateful for the decisions that were made to bring Arne to our club. The injuries play a part, but the squad doesn't seem arsed on the pitch. I think they're exhausted, to be fair, because he's been running the players that are fit into the ground because they've had no choice. But look, as I said, it's certainly getting to that point now where Spurs fans are probably thinking, is this guy going to be the guy? Or, they're still in the Europa League, and if they can get their squad back fit and healthy, you never know in that competition because it's not a very strong Europa League if you look through the teams in it. So maybe they feel like there's still a chance there. Obviously, they're not going to win the league. They're knocked out of the League Cup. I don't even have a clue. They're still in the FA Cup, right? They beat Tamworth, so I guess they still have an opportunity in the FA Cup. Oh my God. That's atrocious from the... I'm sorry, someone sent me a still image here of the free kick that led to the goal. That is absolutely atrocious from the linesman. That's actually embarrassing. To be looking right across that line. He's not even close, like. That's shocking. That is absolutely shocking. Wow. If I was a Leicester fan, I'd be losing my mind right now. Thoughts on Rio being included in the Champions League squad? I think it's great, John. Yeah, it's great. You know, even if it's just a matter of him travelling with the team and maybe he doesn't get too many minutes, it certainly makes him feel involved in the first team and gives him experience of, you know, what it's like to travel over for games or be part of the Champions League matchday squads. And I guess it's also an acknowledgement of how highly thought of he is. I'll try and share the image. Hang on. There you go. Let me try and make this a bit bigger for you. The top part. So, that's probably the best I can do for you there. There you go. So there's the circle's Maguire, and that player that's kind of half covered in a circle as well, he's also a United player. So that's not a Leicester City defender that's kind of covered up by some of the pink as well. So yeah, that's the still image there. He's miles offside, yeah. As I said, like, he's a whole body and a half width, probably. And then the linesman's looking bang smack right across that line as well. So there's just no excuse there for the linesman. Like, he is looking straight along the line. Shocking. Shocking. Yeah, it's not a great call from the liner whatsoever, but imagine getting knocked out last minute of that in the FA Cup. Ouch. And Leicester fans, of course, have every right to be annoyed by it. Is the linesman drunk or something? Honestly, I've no idea how that's missed. It's so clear. You know, it's not like somebody was leaning forward past somebody or it was a foot or something where you could think, all right, you can understand how we missed it. That's easy. Joseph, how are you, mate? Good morning to you, mate. Hope you're well. He looked like he wasn't looking, to be honest. Wow. Well, you know, it's one of those, you've got one job in that scenario. But let's wait and see how the football world receives this situation. Trigger Rich said on the telly, they said it's offside but no VAR, so nothing done. I don't know what to say, you know. It's just not a good look. JD said the excuse will be human error, but VAR is great and it wouldn't have happened with VAR. Look, on the offside stuff, I don't think many of us have too many issues with VAR on the offside decision making, other than whether we think it takes too long. So that's the side of VAR I think most of us are okay with. The part that I see brought up and argued about most is when they're shown red card incidents or penalty incidents or handballs and they're doing it in slow-mo. That really winds me up. Or there's a subjective decision and they show it in slow-mo and it makes it look way worse. That's the part of VAR that I don't like. But on the offside decisions, they're usually relatively factual decisions. Now, sometimes there's a bit of subjectivity about whether somebody's in somebody's eye line or they're interfering with play or whatever, but yeah, that's shocking. That's if that happened to me playing Sunday League, I'd be upset at that. David said, we're getting to the point, is there any point of having officials on the pitch now? Just leave it all to VAR, that's how bad it's getting. Well, there's certainly going to be a lot of questions raised about this one. And can you imagine that went the other way, by the way? Can you imagine that was the reverse of that situation and United got knocked out because of that? I think you'd see far bigger furore over it then. I knew 5 minutes in before he gave Leicester a throw into Man United. I remember that one. It was a corner that came in and it was headed away and it went out on the near side and it gave a throw into United. And I think I even posted into my Discord group going, how was that a throw into United when the United defender heads it out from a corner? It was shocking. So if that's the incident you're on about, I agree. I couldn't believe it myself. Like, how do you see a defender head a corner clear and then give a throw into United? Ash said, the Premier League should go and get the best VAR operators in world football. They've zero interaction with the refs outside of matches, so can't form relationships. We'll see less errors then. They should just not be afraid of telling the refs that they have to go to a monitor. You know, this whole idea of the underlings telling the likes of a Michael Oliver or somebody else, tough. You know, hierarchy shouldn't come into it. If they think the ref missed something, then tell the ref, go have a look at it. Doesn't mean the ref has to change his mind, but tell him to go and look at it. Like, no, as long as I live, I'll never understand how that Odegaard handball and the Doku kick to the chest were never given or even asked to be looked at by a referee. That'll never sit right with me, ever. David said, need to get the rugby officials to work VAR. There's a world of a difference in the two sports. I agree. Rugby officials are far better at interacting with the video referees and, you know, playing it on the big screen in the stadium so the ref can look at it in front of everybody. So I agree with you. Heck said, you get the feeling they never want to undermine the on-field ref. If that's the case, then what's the point of VAR? Exactly, my man. Exactly that. I couldn't agree with you more. You know, the goal should be to get the right decisions. It shouldn't be not to annoy a referee or not to undermine a referee. It should be that the game gets the right decisions. And I also hate the idea that if the ball goes out for a corner and it's given as a goal kick and it's wrong, that they can quickly say to the ref, actually, you got that wrong. It went out off X player. That's a corner. Because we see it happen so often that what should be a goal kick is given as a corner and then that ends up in a goal or something and all hell breaks loose. So why can't they just quickly go, incorrect, swap that round, that's a corner or that's a goal kick? Decisions like that can be made in a split second as well. Exactly. You know, it's not going to interrupt the flow of a game whatsoever. Chop, are you trying to say sin bins, mate? Is that what you're going for with your yellow/reds? You're talking about sin bins? No, I don't want sin bins in football. They need to stop dicking about with football rules, by the way, and just leave the game alone. It feels like fix the stuff that isn't right first before you start going in to talk about like removing extra time and stuff. Like just get the stuff right. Can we learn what a handball is these days first, please? Because I've watched football now and played football since I was 7 years of age. And at this day and age, as a 43-year-old man, I don't know what handball is anymore. And I'm not embarrassed to say that. I genuinely haven't got a clue anymore what constitutes a handball and what isn't. It's mad. And I also can't understand and comprehend how there's a world where an accidental attacking handball that leads to a goal is immediately ruled out, but an accidental defender's handball, no problem. It's different laws for two different parts of the pitch. It just drives me demented. Corbin said, Craig, just getting stuck into my takeaway pizza. Enjoy, my man. When I finish up in a few minutes, I'm off till Sunday, so I'm going to have a good chilled day tomorrow with lots of sport on TV and no work. Zane said, the only favour I'd be in change of is the clock stopping the ball goes out. That, my man, you know, that would solve so many things, wouldn't it? Every time the ball's dead, stop the clock. And then when the final whistle goes, just like in rugby or whatever, next time there's a break in play or the ball goes dead, unless it's a foul that's leading to an attacking chance for somebody, exactly, end the game. I couldn't agree more. But what you might have to do there is look at how long the games are. You know, because 90 minutes, we don't actually see 90 minutes of action. So, yeah, I agree with you, but you might have to tweak it a little bit. Do you know what other one I want rid of? This idea of booking players for taking off their shirt in a celebration needs to stop as well. What's wrong with it? Now, if there's a message under that shirt, fair enough. But if you're after scoring a 96-minute winner in an FA Cup semi-final and you whip your top off and stand in front of the fans, we're trying to remove emotion then from the sport. And who cares? Have we got a problem with seeing professional athletes with their little bibs on or whatever? Like, what's the issue? I get it if it's to do with messages under the shirt or sponsorship rules or something like that, but my God, just let the lad celebrate. Like, let us have some emotion in the sport, because fans can't really celebrate anymore a goal because we have to wait then to see, have they found another way to rule out this goal? So you celebrate and then you go, wait, let's not celebrate too much because we have to wait and see if we're about to get shafted. So yeah, let the lads celebrate and whip the tops off. Who cares? Am I streaming any other games? No. Nope. Just going to be doing our game against Plymouth, and may come back on Sunday night for a late night agenda stream. But no, the plan on Sunday is we'll be starting at 2 o'clock, do a watch along, the usual stuff, match reaction, player ratings, and then we'll be back later in the evening. Do you think we will win the League Cup? It's going to be difficult, right? Newcastle are going to be so bang up for that game. Haven't won a trophy in 70 years. They've been to, I think, 5 or 6 Wembley appearances now and not gotten over the line. And it's a cup final, so they're always a coin toss. I hope the occasion gets too much for them and Liverpool can get the job done, but honestly, right now I'm feeling like it's a coin flip for the final. Yeah, I'm certainly not going to be arrogantly saying I think we win it. I think it's going to be a very difficult game. But Craig, we get stats like Salah has got as many yellows for taking his top off as United have got goals at Anfield. Fair, but I know which one I'd rather look at, and it's Salah getting his top off than goals United scoring at Anfield. Do you think Salah will win the Ballon d'Or if he stays like that? Well, look, he's got every opportunity to. If Liverpool can go very deep in the Champions League and win a Premier League and maybe another cup, and Salah puts up big numbers, absolutely, he should be right there in that conversation for the Ballon d'Or, because who else? You know, looking around Europe at the minute, I think he's rightly thereabouts. United or Everton? I don't understand the question. If the question is which is a more important game to me, the answer would be United for me, because I'm not Scouse. You know, I didn't grow up in the city of Liverpool, so you know, I understand for local maybe it's different, but for me it's always been United. Probably because I grew up and loads of my mates were United mates, and my family had probably a split of United and Liverpool. So for me, that's the one. Every year I look for, that's the fixture when they come out that I look for straight away. Do I think he couldn't win the Ballon d'Or because he's from Egypt? No, I don't. Look, I don't know if you mean from a race perspective or if you mean because Egypt aren't going to be winning World Cups anytime soon. But this isn't an international tournament year. So I think the international side of it kind of goes out the window a little bit when you don't have a big tournament on. So I think it will be based off what he does for the club. So in that sense, yes. If you mean from a racist perspective, I certainly hope not. I would hope that we're past that crap, because the man's greatness is there for all to see. Where he's from in the world, I very much hope would play no part in that, because it shouldn't. And even at that, could you ask for a better role model in the game, genuinely, than Mohamed Salah? He is an icon in every sense. You know, he's a great role model for any young kids, any of his fellow countrymen and women. Yeah, man, I hope not. I hope we don't have to look at that crap, because if he deserves it, he deserves it, you know. Thoughts on the possibility of Kirkes-Gakpo combo? I mean, we need a new left back, so if it's Kirkes or If it's the kid from Girona, I don't mind as long as Arna gets the guy that he wants. If that's Kirkes, so be it. I still have the words of him saying, no, I'm not going to Liverpool. For those listening again, I will not go to Liverpool, but I don't know if he meant in the winter market or ever. Alvin, I know we spoke about the Manchester City legal situation a while ago, mate. It's not great, but it feels like they're just trying their best to cause issues now in the Premier League for me. Have I seen Isak online? I don't know what you mean. Muckrab by Isak online. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that one. Do you think we sign him? So, the reason I say no, I don't think we sign Isak is the price. Is he good enough? Yes. Right age profile? Yes. Premier League proven? Yes. But if Newcastle realistically want 120 to 150, I don't see us paying that, to be honest. Oh, you mean the young Liverpool fan? Oh, yes, I've seen the young man. Yes. Of course, I've seen Jamie Webster went round to his family home, I think, a while back as well, which was lovely. And look, I wish young Isaac nothing but love and happiness, my man. Do you think Michael Owen deserves Ballon d'Or? Yes. Look, as much as I don't like Owen and how it worked at Liverpool, there's no denying his ability as a footballer, particularly a young Michael Owen, 18 to 23, 24. Absolutely phenomenal footballer. Like, just brilliant. Look at his goal against Argentina for England. Like, just incredible. So, yeah, he deserved. They'll want astronomical money. Well, the number is 120 to 150 million is what has been mentioned as being a number that they want. Arsenal fans are a level of their own, by the way. I've just been sent something from that AFC Camden clown that we were on about earlier on. He was predicting Liverpool's fall off to start. And he said, mad how Liverpool haven't had one big injury this season. Been very good, but have also been very lucky. Then some other clown jumps in to go, there's a sports data team at OpenAI that did a study on Premier League performance to determine whether the league position is based on luck or quality. Liverpool's quality adjusted position, removing luck as a factor, is 8th. Not long before the collapse starts. Only for Barry to come in and actually put them in their place. Well done, Barry. So Backseatsman LFC said, this conveniently ignores that the same study had Arsenal in 13th, 2 places below Southampton. Arsenal fans are a level of deluded. No, do you know what? I'm going to add into this. Thick. Let's just throw in the word thick, because they don't know what they're looking at. They're trying to make points and they don't even understand what they're looking at. So stop bringing in statisticians and data analysts and all this other shit when you don't understand it. All you need to know is Arsenal are going to win fuck all. That's all you need to know. And it isn't because of the PGMOL, and it isn't because of Liverpool, and it isn't because of the big bogeyman. It's because you're not good enough. It's because your manager's too negative, and it's because, as Jose Mourinho said about Arsene Wenger, these guys are basically just failure. That's all Arsenal know. That's all that they are recently. And looking for all these other reasons only makes us laugh at you more. So carry on, be bitter, be twisted, be deluded, continue making a holy show of yourself and your fan base, and we'll all sit here breaking our arse laughing at you, because the only reason you haven't won anything is because of you. Nobody else. So just show a bit of grace and humility and stop trying to look for reasons why you should win the league because you're second. Ultimately, you're not good enough. Own it and use it to push yourselves on, and hopefully you'll get there. But it is honestly, it is just pathetic looking at them. Like, they are the most out of touch, deluded, bitter, arrogant, entitled clowns I've seen on social media. It's shocking. And what gets me most about it is there's no sportsmanship in them whatsoever. Absolutely fucking none. You know, when we win the league this year, they will try and undermine it. They will say we got lucky. They will say other teams didn't perform. When we won it, they said it was a COVID title. They've no class. Zero. So I will treat them as such. With the same level of respect they're giving us. None. Deluded clowns, the lot of them. All the channels except Lee Gunner, all the podcasts, all the fans, absolutely delusional. And no class and no humility. Shocking. You get what you deserve, which is fuck all. Jacko, how are you, bro? Said, how likely in your opinion is it that City face at least some punishment for their charges? I would say it's almost a certainty that they face punishment, because if you look at the charges that have been labelled at them, some of them are fairly open and shut. Some of them aren't even up for debate. So, yes, maybe they'll whittle down the 129 charges or whatever it is to, whatever, I don't know, but they will face a punishment. Whether that punishment is points deductions over a few seasons, you know, fines, I don't know, but there's no way they get away with all of them. Everyone that hates Liverpool will only say we won and consider it an off season. I know, man. I know. Lisa, sorry, man. It isn't man. It's Lisa. My apologies, Lisa. I know, Lisa, but you know they ignore as well the fact that we put up 97 points, 99 points. You know, ridiculous points tallies that they never in their life get near, and come second. Like, imagine not winning the Premier League with 96 points. Imagine that. Like. And we took it, we felt the pain, and we moved on. We didn't look to cry arse about it. We didn't try to blame everybody else on it. We sucked it up year after year in these titanic battles with Man City when we came out on the wrong side of it, and it hurt like hell, and we lost Champions League finals. But we moved on, and we went again. But these fucking Egypts are just playing humble inside the stadium when they beat the worst Manchester City team in the history of recent times, a team that everybody else has beaten, and that now they feel like they're the champions and waiting. You shit the bed. You had your chance and you shit the bed because your manager's too negative. So start looking to your board and your manager and ask them not to be sending Martinelli to run to the corner flag, because you had the chance to beat us. You had us on the ropes at the Emirates, and little Martinelli ran to the corner flag like a coward with 15 minutes to go in the game, rather than try to go for the throw. And that right there is why you won't win it. What else we got? No acceptance. I literally just heard there was a debate that Saliba is better than Van Dijk. These dopes, because I've nothing else left to call them, tried to make out like Saka was better than Salah, Saliba's better than Van Dijk. They're so delusional. And do you remember the youngster coming through? They had, was it Wanyeri or somebody last week? I think Wanyeri. They had him in a fucking Messi and Mbappe, I think it was. And they had, or Messi and Ronaldo, goals at this age versus this. Like, any fan base that comes up with a deserve to win-o-meter to try and make their pitiful little selves feel better when they don't win a game of football by going, look, the deserve to win-o-meter showed that we had a 78% chance to win that game. But that's not how football's played. You know, football isn't played off statistics. Football is played with heart, balls and passion. And Arsenal lack two of those three. So, yeah. I'm so sick of them, man. I'm so sick of them. Arsenal saying we've had no injuries, had the world's best goalkeeper out for months. I know. They're just meh. But look, they're going to have to own up to it at some point. They're going to have to acknowledge to themselves that they just aren't good enough. You know, what happens next year when they don't win it? Whose fault is it going to be then? So look, like I keep saying, we can only do what we can do, which is take care of our own results. If we win the league, brilliant, we'll celebrate it. If they win the league, I'll congratulate them. But I know that won't be the other way around. You know that there'll be no credit given to us when we win the league, because those bitter, sad little twats just don't have it in them, other than Lee Gunner. Jota has been out most of the season. Exactly. Look, we've had more than our share of injuries. Last season, we fell away because of fatigue and injury at the end of it. And this season, we're back. And nobody gave us a sniff. Nobody thought we'd be top of the league. They're predicting the meltdown. They're predicting the fall away. They're hoping. It's not prediction. It's hoping. It's a wing and a prayer. That's all it is. Out with the rosary beads, on your knees in the church, lash out the holy water and pray to high heaven that Liverpool fall apart. And this is the part that really stings for them, it's not in their own hands. It's not down to Arsenal. It's down to us, and they have to hope that we fail. And that is a tough, tough spot to be in, because we've been there, and it sucks. But you know what? It makes you stronger in the longer term. But what we have learned over this season is that there is no more laughable fan base than Arsenal. They tried to mock Spurs, but I find Spurs have at least a bit of humility about them. Arsenal fans, man, have gone to a level of delusion that I find comedic at this point. Andy said, Cara's comments about the Champions League, Premier League football being too easy for Virgil is right. He's using the cheat codes, comes back to the changing room, probably doesn't even need a shower. Yep, and I was so happy to see Cara call out any comparisons to Virgil, because he's spot on. Like, Saliba's a great defender, by the way, don't get me wrong. I'm not here to undermine Arsenal's players, but to try and put these guys who have achieved nothing on the same level as a man who has won multiple things now, every trophy with Liverpool, it's just laughable. It's laughable. By the way, I'm going to say this again. Saka is going to become a big problem for Arsenal. A big problem. And here's why. You gave him 300 odd grand a week at 21. How do you think that's going to go every 2.5 years when he wants a new contract? By the time that lad's hitting his prime at 25, 26, if your manager hasn't ran him into the ground, he's going to be asking for absolutely extortionate wages because you've been stupid enough to give it to him. He's a great player, but he wasn't going to go anywhere. Arsenal could have kept him there for a lot less money. And he is a great player. Not trying to say that, but my God. They don't learn. Ozil, Sanchez, how many? Aubameyang. Just stupid money after stupid money. And it comes back to bite them in the arse. And then they'll start cry arsing about signings. Oh, Cronky, give us money. You spent 100 and something million on Rice. Stop bringing in Raheem fucking Sterling and thinking he's going to make a difference. Like, it's so funny. Whatever way you dress it up, they've spent a lot more money than us over the last 9 years. A lot more. And have nothing to show for it. And them's the facts. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I'm going to go watch some more comedy now, because watching the Arsenal fans has given me a little bit of a chuckle, and I want to watch some more. So I'm going to go and start my weekend. I will catch up with you guys on Sunday for the watch along. We'll be live from 2 o'clock tomorrow. Preview is coming out in the afternoon, and we'll have a news video coming out in the morning as well. But until then, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for dropping in tonight. Drop a like for me if you can before you head off, and have a good, healthy